Okay, welcome back to the workshop. So this is episode 2 of the kind of shortened series with some narration. Stay tuned for the next upload, which is episode 3 of the shortened kind of director's cut. And I'll explain how you can download the CAD for this machine in Fusion 360 format for free. Okay, so this time we'll get on with the gantry. Clearly, as you can see in this little animation at the beginning, I had an awful lot of time on my hands to play around with the software and the video editing software, just to have a bit of fun with it. There we go, we're getting started now. So we're going to build the parts you see there, which is the gantry. So it all started off by just cutting what are called the corner plates. So this obviously got the corner of the gantry there, cutting them out on the CNC machine Mark III, drilling, tapping. And then these are some upper plates that go at the end of it, the gantry there. There's a pair of those. Again, CNC machined on the Mark III. Holes drilled, tapped on that, and then turned it 90 degrees, clamped it, and drilled some holes in the side. So we've got some other parts coming along. So this part here holds the stepper motor on, as you can probably see in the middle. That's where the NEMA 23 goes, and then the slot towards the top there. That's where the kind of bearings and the pulley guides go. So you'll see that a little bit later for the belt system. Yeah, just trial fit to make sure it fits together. And then the gantry itself is made of steel. It's always worth making as many CNC parts as you can out of steel, because it's a much different material. It depends on what you can work with, so you've got to choose your materials according to your tools as well. So this time we're about ready now just to assemble it. Now, I had a lot of questions at the time in the video when I put this out about what is that white plate. So you saw it appear in many of the videos. It's out of an old fireplace. It's like the hearth. It's a marble material. It's reasonably flat actually. I have checked it. It's at least to within 0.05, probably flatter than that. It's the flattest thing I've got. I don't own a surface plate. I had one on my list for some time, but they're £200-300, so for a size that I would want to use anyway. So not that cheap. So we make do with what we got, and assembled it together. Now we're making, these are the housings that hold the ball screw ends. So they're all machined out, and then in the ends we needed to drill those holes. Those tubes there hold the bearings, and then it all assembles together. Now, although this looks quite nice, neat, and is quite a nice solution because it allows you to adjust those radially, so the position of those, the real reason they look like that was because the ball screws I had, the spare ball screw I had, wasn't quite long enough. Luckily I didn't need to use all the travel, or in other words the ball nut didn't go right to the end, so I had enough space. So I ordered a second ball nut, also too short, so that I had two sides that were matching. Anyway, it all turned out alright in the end. It looks okay. So I couldn't fit the second ball screw because it's on the CNC machine Mark III making some of the parts, but the one I'd bought, the second ball screw, is on the far side there. So now we're going to make these cover plates. There's one at the front, one at the back. Also you can see there's one to be made on the base of it. We didn't go into that in the end, so I edited that out. So I'm just cleaning the board up here on the spoil board, ready to put the part down. Now the stock I had was actually the finished size, so I machined these holes, put these dowel pins in, and then I could use those as a reference to locate the material, because I needed to know exactly where it was in space. So one of the nice things about CNC machining is you can do that. Put the dowel pins in, push it up to the pins, then you know where it is. Take the pins out, and you can machine features onto that part. That's one way of doing it anyway. So here we are drilling out some of the holes. So this is what will ultimately fix it onto the side of the machine. And now if anyone of you have ever machined this 1000 grade aluminium, it's very gummy, and I mean, it wasn't the sharpest cutter I'd got, and I had lots of WD-40 sprayed on it, but if I'm quiet here you'll hear it chip weld. And there he goes. And it wasn't the sharpest cutter, but this stuff loves to chip weld. Luckily I'm only manually jogging it with the cursor key, so I could stop straight away. I was just basically trimming a bit off the bottom. There it goes again. Yeah, it can be a bit testing, this thinner stuff, but I need the 1000 grade because I need to be able to bend it. Here we're machining some of the bits near the top. This is the bit that ultimately will roll over. You'll see that in a bit later. Then just machining these reliefs in the corner, just stress relief, so when it rolls and folds round, it will kind of help it round a little bit more. Now we need to get a little bit creative. I haven't got, well, I didn't at this point in particular, I didn't have a press tool, didn't have any way of pressing these parts. So I went back to the old way of doing it, so I've got a wooden pattern that I'm making up here, and we'll use this to kind of form the material around. Luckily it was quite thin, and it's aluminium, so it's reasonably easy to bend. Then just use a bit of shelving material to persuade it around, and then I just hand formed it after that, just to get to remove the spring back and get it as a good fit. So here we're offering it up, we need to drill the holes through, just to mark out where those holes are. So we'll just run the drill in there just slightly to make those marks. And then I didn't show it being made, but I made up this little drill fixture, there it is, just to allow me to get the holes right in the centre of that plate, or that side plate. So it's a 10mm plate, and that gets me 5mm in from the edge. And at this point the cordless drill, that Bosch drill that you saw earlier in I think in the previous video, had finally died, made horrible noises and smoke came out, so that was the end of it. So I'm back to my trusty mains pad drill, which is also a bit crunchy and old, but you know, got the job done. And it's still going strong now, even many more years later. So we are drilling and tapping so that we can fix those cover plates on. And then just buttoning it up. That's the front done. And now we need to do the rear. So you can also see in there, when it comes back round again, we've only got one ball screw in for the Z. That's because the other one at this point was still on the Mark III machine, because I still had some more parts to make. Made the rear part, the rear cover in the same way, so I didn't bother showing that, and here we are fastening that on. There we go. The cover plate's complete, so we've got our Y, Z axis complete, and the gantry. So it's starting to come together now, so in the next one we'll have a look at the bed and we'll start building that.